The Cleveland Browns quarterback saga has taken yet another twist, one that fans and insiders saw coming but hoped the team could avoid. Just 3 weeks ago, head coach Kevin Stefanski stood before the media and made a bold declaration. He told everyone that Joe Flacco would be the starter, praising his experience and his leadership. In that single moment, Stefanski not only placed his faith in a 41-year-old veteran, but also sent a subtle message that Shadore Sanders, the young quarterback waiting in the wings, wasn't ready. It was a gamble, and many warned at the time that it would backfire. Now, just 2 games into the season, those warnings look more like prophecies. From the opening whistle, the cracks were obvious. Joe Flacco had the resume, a Super Bowl ring, and years of experience under his belt, but age and inconsistency quickly caught up to him. Against all expectations, the Browns were on the verge of stealing a win on opening day. The defense held strong, the offense found just enough rhythm to keep hope alive. But then came the critical moments, the ones that separate veterans from liabilities. 2 costly interceptions by Flacco swung the game completely out of Cleveland's hands. Fans who had been clinging to optimism were left shaking their heads, their worst fears realized in the cruelest way. The Browns lost a game they could have won, undone not by their lack of effort, but by turnovers at the most pivotal times. Kevin Stefanski didn't panic after that first loss. Instead, he doubled down on his decision, giving Flacco a second chance to redeem himself against the Ravens. It was supposed to be a test of resilience, a chance for the veteran to prove his doubters wrong. What followed was nothing short of disaster. The Ravens' defense tore apart Cleveland's game plan. Flacco looked overwhelmed from the start, sacked repeatedly, missing open receivers and coughing up turnovers that kept the Browns pinned to the mat. Every possession felt like an uphill battle, and instead of steadying the ship, Flacco steered it into a storm. His performance wasn't just poor, it was catastrophic. At one point, he threw the ball directly into the arms of a defender, a gift-wrapped turnover that left fans stunned in disbelief. It wasn't simply a missed opportunity, it was a blunder that sealed the Browns' fate. A 50% completion rate, multiple interceptions, and an offense that looked like it had no answers. For many, it was no longer about patience. It was about survival. The Browns couldn't afford to keep going down this road. After the second loss, Stefanski faced the media again. His frustration was visible, his voice carrying the sting of a man who knew the pressure was mounting. He pointed to tipped balls and overlooked details as reasons for the defeat, but everyone watching knew the truth. The Browns weren't just losing, they were unraveling. Special teams miscues, defensive breakdowns, and above all, a quarterback who couldn't protect the football. Behind the scenes, the hierarchy was already pressing Stefanski for answers, and the coach knew his job could be on the line if he didn't act fast. For Joe Flacco, the writing was on the wall. In his own comments to the press, he acknowledged that his starting job was no longer secure. He promised to give his best if called upon, but he admitted that his role with the team might be changing. Even Flacco seemed to understand that time was running out, that his place in Cleveland's future was far from certain. He spoke like a man who had made peace with the possibility that his time as a starter was over. And so Stefanski, once so sure of his decision, began to soften his stance. He hinted at changes, spoke cautiously about what lay ahead, and dropped the first signs that Shadore Sanders could be given a real chance. It was a reversal born not of confidence, but of necessity. The Browns were one play away from handing the keys to Sanders or Dillon Gabriel, 2 young quarterbacks with little NFL experience but plenty of potential. The fans could see it, the media could see it, and now, finally, Stefanski had no choice but to acknowledge it. Inside the locker room and on talk shows across Cleveland, the debate raged. Analysts like Ken Carman pointed out that the Browns' problems ran deeper than quarterback play. The offensive system itself lacked the tools to succeed, leaving whoever lined up under center with an uphill battle. To throw a rookie like Sanders into that fire might provide a spark, a different flavor, but it wouldn't erase the flaws in the scheme. The fear was that it could damage Sanders' confidence, putting too much weight on his shoulders before the team was truly ready to support him. But others argued the opposite, that the Browns needed the energy, the raw hunger of a young quarterback willing to take risks and fight for every yard. Sanders represented hope, and hope was in short supply. Reports soon surfaced that Stefanski and general manager Andrew Berry might not survive the season if things didn't improve quickly. Anthony Lima, another insider, fueled speculation by suggesting that the warning signs were already flashing red. If the Browns couldn't turn things around, ownership wouldn't hesitate to make sweeping changes, starting with the head coach and the front office. That looming threat only added urgency to the quarterback decision. Stefanski couldn't afford to keep defending Flacco while the team continued to lose. His career in Cleveland now depended on giving Sanders a chance. Shadore Sanders, for his part, wasn't fazed. While speculation swirled and critics debated his readiness, he remained calm, collected, and focused. When asked about the noise around him, Sanders brushed it aside. He spoke about faith, about confidence in the abilities God had given him, and about ignoring the outside chatter. He wasn't concerned with what others thought, and he wasn't going to let anyone's doubts shake him. That mindset set him apart from many rookies who might have cracked under the spotlight. Sanders showed the poise of someone raised for this moment, someone ready to step into the storm without flinching. The irony is impossible to ignore. Stefanski's journey with Sanders has been marked by hesitation, doubt, and resistance. From the start, he chose experience over potential, believing Flacco's leadership would stabilize the team. But now, with losses piling up and his own future hanging in the balance, Stefanski has been forced to turn to the very player he once dismissed. It's a decision he never wanted to make, but circumstances left him no other choice. For Sanders, this is the moment he's been waiting for. A chance to prove that he can lead, to show not just Stefanski, but the entire league that he belongs. The pressure is immense. The Browns are teetering on the edge, desperate for a spark, desperate for something to believe in. If Sanders rises to the occasion, he could not only save the season, but reshape the narrative of his young career. If he falters, critics will be quick to say Stefanski was right all along, that Sanders wasn't ready. Either way, this is the turning point. The Browns' future, Stefanski's job, and Sanders' reputation all hang in the balance. So what do you think? Was Stefanski right to stick with Joe Flacco early in the season, or should he have trusted Shadore Sanders from the start? Is it too late for the Browns to turn things around, or can Sanders still lead them to success? How much blame should Stefanski shoulder for the team's struggles? And what do you make of Flacco's collapse under pressure? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's hear where you stand on this evolving quarterback drama.